It's funny. We love talking about the lone genius, right? People like Oprah or Elon Musk, these big names.
Right, the innovators.
Yeah, exactly. But the reality is, well, most new stuff, ideas, products, they don't just appear. They come from teams, whether it's a tiny startup or some huge company.
That's the engine, really.
So that's our mission today. We want to give you a shortcut, basically. We're going to dive into what really makes teams work, especially, in technical fields.
Hmm.
We've looked at some sources that really shed light on how teams go from that first, maybe fuzzy idea all the way to getting the project done.
Yeah. And our main guide here is Working in Teams by Richard Johnson Sheehan. It's a really clear roadmap for team projects.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I think, is how these ideas, they just work everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a huge formal project or just, a quick collaboration. The basics are the basics.
Right. Think about it. Have you ever been on a team where things felt, I don't know, totally chaotic at the start,
Yeah.
just messy, and then somehow it just clicks? Or maybe the opposite, where conflict just kind of tanks the whole thing.
Happens all the time.
Well, today we're going to look at why that happens and, more importantly, how you can maybe manage it better to make your next team experience, well, hopefully better.
Yeah. Turn it around.
Okay, let's get into this. A lot of us maybe have bad memories of group projects in college, right?
Definitely. Slight chuckle.
But in the technical world today, it's completely different. You won't last long if you can't work well with others. It's not optional.
No, it's fundamental.
Look at job ads in tech. Team player, collaboration skills,
Okay.
it's always right up there. Top requirement.
And it makes sense because innovation itself, it's a team sport now. From that initial idea to planning it out to actually finishing it, it's all collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And failure. Yeah, failure is often part of it. Things don't always work first try.
Right.
But the good teams, they figure out how to push through that, learn from it, adapt.
And the whole way we work has changed too, hasn't it? With like networks and everything being online. COVID really pushed that.
Oh, massively. Think about it. Cell phones, all these mobile devices, collaboration tools. Teams can work together from anywhere now.
Which leads to all this flexible working, hybrid models, work from home.
Exactly. And that means you have to be good with tools like, MS Teams, Google Workspace, Slack. Communication is just,
Mm-hmm.
it's everything when you're not in the same room.
So, okay, a team forms. Does it just sort of get better smoothly, or is there like a pattern to how they develop?
That's a great point. It's definitely not always smooth sailing. There's actually a really well-known model by Bruce Tuckman. He identified 4 stages: forming, storming, norming, and performing.
Forming, storming, norming, performing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the key thing is, it's not always step 1, step 2, step 3, done. Teams can actually loop back.
Ah, so they might go from norming back to storming.
Exactly. Maybe a new challenge pops up or a new person joins the team and suddenly things get a bit rocky again. So the real question is, how do you even know which stage your team is in? And what do you do about it?
Okay, let's start with stage 1, forming. That's the beginning, right? Setting the mission, the goals. Seems like there'd be excitement, maybe.
Yeah, usually there is excitement, optimism, but also, like you said, uncertainty. People don't know each other. Maybe they're unsure about expectations, skills,
So what's the big risk there if they don't get that forming stage right?
lack of clarity.
Hmm.
That's the killer. If you don't nail down the basics, you're setting yourself up for confusion and definitely conflict down the line.
Right.
So strategic planning right here is, well, it's everything. There are 5 key steps. First, define the project mission and objectives.
Okay.
And this isn't just what are we doing, it's also what are we not doing.
Mm-hmm.
Super important. What are the actual deliverables? Who's the audience, customers, clients, and what are the constraints? Physical, economic, ethical things.
Gotcha. Like that example, the St. Thomas Medical Center Task Force on Staph Infections.
Exactly. Their mission was super clear. Figure out the vulnerability level and make strategies to limit MRSA exposure. Without that focus, they would just be spinning their wheels.
Okay, so mission first. What's step 2?
Identify project outcomes. These are the tangible results, the things you can see and measure.
The deliverables.
Precisely. For the staff project, it was a data report, pamphlets for patients, another report for the bosses, and a plan for training. Specific things.
Makes sense. Third.
Define team member responsibilities. This one's huge for preventing fights later. Who's doing what?
Like who's the coordinator who does the research?
Yeah. Coordinator for schedule and meetings.
Yeah.
Researchers digging up info, maybe an editor for organizing and style, a designer for visuals.
But everyone writes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's key. Writing isn't just one person's job, even if there's an editor. Everyone owns the content. No pointing fingers later saying that wasn't my section.
Okay, good point. Fourth step.
Create a project calendar. Use software. MS Teams, Slack, whatever works, and use backward planning.
Start from the deadline and work back.
You got it. Like that staff training calendar example. Deadline for data was May 8th, training day May 29th. All the steps leading up were mapped out. Keeps everyone on track.
And the last one. Step 5.
Write out a work plan,
Okay.
a proper document. This answers the who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Like that St. Thomas memo example again.
Right. It had the mission, sure, but also objectives, specific actions, the deliverables, the timeline. It's the team's single source of truth, your North Star for the project.
Okay, so you do all that planning, informing, mission clear, role set, calendar, work plan. Sounds like smooth sailing. But,
Yeah.
I suspect that's not the end of the story.
Chuckles. Not quite. If forming is the honeymoon, well, next comes storming.
Ah, storming. This is where it gets interesting, maybe a bit messy.
Definitely can be. This is where conflict tends to surface. It's natural, actually, even healthy sometimes. But destructive conflict, that's bad news. Dysfunctional relationships, frustration, morale, just tanks.
What causes it? Typical, what are the signs a team is, like, stuck in storming?
Common causes are, well, disagreements, obviously. Tension over who's doing what, anxiety about results, maybe challenges to leadership, just plain frustration.
Okay.
And the symptoms. You'll
Yeah.
see things like people resisting suggestions, second-guessing that work plan you made, competing for who gets credit, shooting down others' ideas.
Ugh.
Yeah, or wanting to change the whole mission suddenly, ethical stuff cropping up, or that classic one, I'm doing way more work than anyone else.
Right. Oh, I recognize that one. So the honeymoon is definitely over.
Laughus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the real work of learning to collaborate actually starts.
So how do you get through it? You mentioned effective meetings are key here.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Especially in storming. Having someone facilitate is vital. A calm hand on the tiller.
Okay.
And the number one thing, set an agenda, a clear one, not just a topic list. Distinguish.
Yeah.
What are we just discussing? And what needs an action, a decision, an
And
assignment?
stick to it. Right. No random tangents.
Please, stick to the agenda. Like that staff task force agenda, time blocked for the presentation, time for discussing options. Focus.
What other tips help make meetings work in this phase?
Start and end on time. Simple but huge. Tackle one agenda item at a time, get everyone involved.
Sure.
Facilitator needs to draw out the quiet ones.
Crucial.
Allow dissent. Let people disagree, but constructively. Aim for consensus, not just a 51% vote. Record decisions, write minutes. Recap each item before moving on. And always end with what's next and who's doing it.
Sounds like discipline is key.
It really is. It provides structure when things feel chaotic.
Okay, but what if the conflict is deeper, like really personal or stuck?
Right. Sometimes you need more formal mediation. The process is pretty clear. First, pick a neutral mediator.
Okay.
Then both sides state their case, no interruptions. Third, identify the real issues. Fourth, prioritize them. Fifth, tackle each issue one by one, looking for common ground. Write down the agreement. Make it concrete. And, it's tough, but sometimes, if mediation fails, removing someone from the team is the absolute last resort. It's rare, but might be needed for the project.
Wow. Okay, so you survive storming, hopefully. What comes next? Norming. Sounds calmer.
It generally is. Norming is where the storm starts to settle down. People begin to accept their roles, maybe even appreciate them. Team unity starts to build.
And criticism becomes constructive.
Exactly. People feel safer offering feedback. And it actually helps improve things. The focus shifts to getting the job done together.
So what are the key things teams do in norming to really solidify things?
Two main activities really shine here. First, revising objectives and outcomes. Remember that work plan? Now's the time to refine it.
Based on what you learned during storming or new info?
Precisely. Maybe research showed something unexpected or early tests didn't work. You revise the plan, make adjustments. It's not a total rewrite, usually more like tweaking the course.
Okay, fine-tuning. And the second thing?
Redefining team roles and redistributing workload. This is super important. As people work together, you see who's good at what, who enjoys certain tasks.
Ah, so roles might shift from what was decided in forming.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
You adjust based on demonstrated strengths and how the team is actually working, not just the initial guess. Maybe someone who was a researcher turns out to be a great coordinator for a specific task. It's about finding that optimal balance. Teams often do retrospectives here, looking back at what worked, what didn't, and how to adjust roles.
That makes a lot of sense. Finding the groove. which leads us to performing, the ultimate goal.
That's the idea. Performing is where the team is really hunting. Comfortable, roles are clear, everyone's focused on quality and getting better, high morale, high efficiency.
The well-oiled machine. What does that look like? How do they keep improving?
They get really focused on quality improvement strategies. You hear about things like total quality management, TQM, based on ideas from people like W. Edwards Deming.
Right, like Kaizen or Six Sigma.
Exactly. Kaizen is that continuous, small improvements idea.
Yeah.
Everyone looking for little ways to be better. Six Sigma is more data-driven, hunting down defects. They're not just jargon. They're ways high-performing teams operate.
And standards, too, like ISO 9000.
Yep, those provide common benchmarks for quality. But really, it's about having strong feedback loops and clear metrics.
Measuring performance.
Yeah. Things like ROI, quality scores, production numbers, how innovative are we? You need ways to track progress. Tools like a team performance review form, like the one in Sheehan's book, help teams assess themselves. Are we effective? Where can we improve? It's a constant cycle.
Okay, so this whole journey, forming, storming, norming, performing, it applies even when teams aren't in the same place, right? Virtual teaming is huge now.
Oh, absolutely. It's the norm, especially post-COVID. Virtual teaming is teaming now for so many.
So what are the essentials for making that work well, beyond the stages themselves?
Well, the tools are obviously key. For communication, you've got texting, email, messaging apps, maybe social networking for teams. For files, Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive are essential.
And meetings?
Virtual meetings are the standard Zoom, MS Teams, WebEx, you name it. But the core advice, it doesn't change much. Stick to the work plan. Having that shared document is even more vital remotely.
Right. Everyone needs that anchor.
And communicate regularly, proactively. You have to fight that out of sight, out of mind tendency. Check in often.
Any specific tools that help visualize things for remote teams?
Gantt charts are great for that. They give everyone that visual map of tasks, timelines, who's doing what, especially when you can't just glance across the office.
So, wrapping this framework up, it feels like the secret sauce isn't really magic, is it? It's good planning and really solid communication.
That's the bottom line. Good, often detailed upfront planning, informing. Knowing how to manage conflict effectively in storming, refining roles and plans in norming, and that relentless focus on quality in performing.
And applying all that, whether you're face-to-face or virtual.
Exactly. Understanding those stages, mastering virtual tools, and always aiming for quality improvement, TQM or CQI. That's what makes the difference.
Let's make this really concrete. There's this case study, right? Sarah Brand and her solar panel company, Burning Daylight.
Yeah, great example.
She started this business, but faced huge hurdles. Her team wasn't just her employees. It included all these different sub-teams, drywallers, electricians, plumbers, roofers.
All needing coordination, working on different sites.
Plus, she was juggling supply chain problems in real time. Sounds stressful.
Hugely. And it perfectly highlights these concepts. Think about mobile communication. She needed phones, tablets on site to track people, materials, tools, basic survival.
And she had conflict, right, with Jim and Chris.
Classic storming phase. That whole argument about separating their ideas, that screams need for better conflict mediation, maybe clearer meeting rules like we discussed.
Right.
And the case even mentions using drones for moving stuff.
Yeah.
That shows how new tech gets woven into these team processes constantly.
So, thinking about Sarah, knowing all this about the team stages,
Yeah.
how could she have used this? If you were advising her, what would you suggest based on this deep dive?
Well, you look at where things went wrong. Did she do enough forming stage planning with all those sub-teams initially? Were roles clear? Was the communication plan robust enough for remote sites?
Probably not, sounds like.
And when that conflict with Jim and Chris blew up the storming, did she have a process? Did she try mediation? Did they have clear meeting agendas to keep discussions focused? Applying these strategies proactively could have potentially smoothed out some of those bumps, maybe helped her hit that white paper deadline despite the chaos.
It really forces you to think about applying these frameworks in messy, real-world situations. So we've really gone deep today into how teams actually work. The nitty-gritty, from setting that initial mission, getting through the inevitable conflicts, finding a rhythm, and then really pushing for quality. These aren't just theories, they're practical tools.
They really are. We've seen just how vital that planning and communication is. And understanding that the team life cycle, forming, storming, norming, performing, is a natural thing, something you can actually navigate.
Right.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you listening. How can knowing about these stages, these dynamics, help you? Not just at work, but maybe, other parts of your life. Teamwork with family or friends planning something, or even community groups trying to get something done together.
That's a great question to chew on. How does this apply beyond the office?
Hmm.
Well, we hope this deep dive gave you some real aha moments, some useful takeaways for the next time you find yourself working with others. Thanks for joining us.